You think you know what's coming next? Another video about soaring gas prices, about the global energy crisis hitting your wallet, about how the world is just running on fumes. You're right to feel that way. Every single one of us, we're all paying the price for a world addicted to a fragile, imported energy supply. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking a future of affordable energy, of breaking free from that addiction, is hidden in a place you'd least expect it? A place many of us only know from vacation photos and beautiful beaches. A place that's been sitting on a secret so big, so valuable, it could single-handedly shift the balance of power on the entire planet. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Right here, deep under the waters of the Philippines, lies a resource that could change everything for you, for your family, for your future. For many years, the country has been known for its beaches, its culture, and its hard-working people. But hidden beneath the seabed are reserves of oil and natural gas that are now attracting the attention of the world. What was once seen mainly as a travel destination is now being looked at as a possible energy powerhouse. The timing could not be more important. As nations search for new energy sources, the Philippines finds itself sitting on reserves that could bring in billions of dollars and transform its economy. Global demand for oil and gas remains high, and investors are turning their eyes to Southeast Asia. The Philippines, with its untapped potential, is quickly becoming a key part of this conversation. This sudden interest is not only about profits, it is also about power, security, and influence. Control of energy means control of the future. For the Philippines, the question is how to use this hidden wealth to bring growth and stability without losing sovereignty. For investors, the hope is that the country will open its doors to opportunities that could reshape the entire region. The South China Sea has already been a source of tension, but now it holds even greater importance. The oil and gas beneath these waters could change the balance of power in Asia. The Philippines is no longer just defending its waters. It is standing on ground that might hold the key to its long-term prosperity. This moment is about more than drilling and pipelines. It is about how a nation can rise when the world finally notices what it has always had. It is about the choices that will decide if the Philippines turns its hidden reserves into strength or lets others take control. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me as we uncover why everyone suddenly wants to invest in the Philippines' hidden oil and gas, and what this could mean for the nation's future. For decades, the Philippines sat on resources that few people truly understood. While other nations were exploring and drilling, much of the country's oil and gas potential remained below the surface, untouched and unstudied. This wasn't because the reserves were unimportant, but because technology, politics, and the priorities of the past kept them from being developed. It's like having a forgotten savings account that's been gaining interest for a century. The money was always there, but you just couldn't access it. In the early years, exploration was limited. The Philippines faced challenges like weak infrastructure, lack of investment, and changing governments that struggled to focus on long-term energy goals. Many surveys suggested the presence of oil and gas beneath Philippine waters, but the country didn't have the tools or funding to move forward. Another reason is location. Much of the potential lies in contested waters, especially in the South China Sea. The constant disputes over who controls these areas made companies hesitant to invest. The risks were high, and the rewards seemed uncertain. As a result, the reserves stayed hidden, waiting for a time when conditions would finally shift. Now, with energy demand growing worldwide and technology making exploration easier, that moment has arrived. The very reserves that were ignored for decades are now being seen as some of the most valuable in Asia. The Philippines, once overlooked in this space, is suddenly being recognized as a country with untapped wealth that could shape its future. One project stands out as the best example of how oil and gas can shape the Philippines, and that is Malampaya. This natural gas field is located off the coast of Palawan and began producing gas in 2001. From the start, it became one of the most important energy projects in the country. Gas from Malampaya is delivered to power plants in Batangas through an underwater pipeline. These plants supply around 20 to 30% of Luzon's electricity needs, which means that millions of homes and businesses rely on this single project. Think of Malampaya as the heart that pumps life into the Philippines' most important island. By producing energy locally, the Philippines reduced its need for imported fuel and saved billions of dollars in foreign exchange. Over the years, Malampaya was not only an engineering success, but also a sign of what was possible. It showed that the Philippines had the ability to manage a world-class energy project, and that its waters held resources that could power the country for decades. This gave confidence both to the government and to investors that exploration in the Philippines was worth the effort. effort. Although the gas reserves of Malampaya are slowly running out, its impact is still felt today. It remains proof that beneath Philippine waters lie resources with the power to change the nation's future. This success is one of the main reasons why the world is once again turning its eyes to the Philippines' hidden oil and gas reserve. But here's the crucial part. The Malampaya field is running on fumes. Its gas is slowly, inevitably running out. This creates a terrifying deadline, a ticking clock that could send the Philippines back to square one, heavily dependent on foreign energy. But what if this ticking clock is actually the single biggest opportunity for the country and for the rest of the world? That's the question no one is asking, and we're about to dive into the answer. The Philippines' oil and gas reserves have existed for decades, but what makes them so important today is the changing global situation. One major factor is the rising demand for energy. As countries try to move away from coal and balance renewable power, natural gas has become a critical bridge fuel. Nations everywhere are looking for stable suppliers, and the Philippines is now on that radar. Think of it like this. The world's energy cupboard is getting bare, and everyone is suddenly looking for new places to restock. Another reason is the decline of Malampaya. The gas fields that have powered Luzon for more than 20 years are slowly running out. By the end of this decade, much of its supply will be depleted. This creates both a challenge and an opportunity. Without new discoveries, the Philippines risks importing even more energy. But with the right investment, it could replace Malampaya with new fields and even expand production. Geopolitics also plays a role. The South China Sea has become one of the most contested regions in the world because it holds valuable trade routes and energy resources. The U.S. Energy Information Agency estimates that the South China Sea holds a staggering 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and 11 billion barrels of oil in proved and probable reserves. Many global powers understand that whoever secures reliable energy here will have influence in the region. This is why the Philippines' reserves are no longer just a national concern, but a point of international interest. Finally, technology has advanced. What was once too deep, too expensive, or too complex to explore is now within reach. Modern drilling and exploration methods make it possible to extract resources in areas that were once ignored. This shift makes the Philippines' hidden reserves more attractive than ever before. All of these factors combine to explain why the world suddenly cares. The Philippines stands at the center of a new energy race, and what happens next will determine if these hidden reserves truly become a national treasure or remain untapped potential. I need to ask you something. If you're finding this deep dive fascinating, it means you're exactly the kind of person who deserves to know the real story behind world events. It takes a lot to produce content like this. Can you help us out? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. It's a quick click that makes a huge difference. Don't miss what's coming next. When we talk about the Philippines' oil and gas potential, we cannot ignore China. Much of the interest lies in the South China Sea, which is one of the most disputed bodies of water in the world. China claims almost the entire area under its so-called 9-dash line. But this overlaps directly with the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. According to international law, particularly the 2016 Hague ruling, those Chinese claims have no legal basis, yet Beijing continues to assert them. This isn't just about lines on a map. Beneath the sea lie untapped oil and gas reserves that could help secure the energy future of whichever country develops them. The Philippines, these resources could mean independence from costly imports. For China, controlling them would strengthen its regional dominance. This is a game of high-stakes poker, but the chips aren't money. They're entire nations' futures. The tension has already been seen through standoffs between Philippine vessels and Chinese Coast Guard ships. These incidents show that access to these waters is about more than fishing rights or shipping lanes. It is about the future of energy and national security. This is why the territorial issue is at the heart of the Philippines' energy potential. The world is paying attention because the outcome of this struggle will decide whether the country can fully benefit from its hidden reserves or remain limited by disputes. But here's the twist in the plot. The Philippines isn't alone in this fight. This isn't a David Vizglide story. It's a team sport, and the U.S. is the most powerful teammate. The Philippine government understands how important these hidden reserves are and has started to take action. In recent years, leaders have spoken openly about the need to explore new oil and gas fields and is ready to conduct more complex and effective operations in promoting the country's national interests while also protecting national interests in disputed waters. One of the biggest steps has been pushing for joint exploration agreements with foreign partners who have the technology and resources to develop these reserves safely and quickly. At the same time, the government has been strengthening defense cooperation with allies to make sure exploration activities are not easily blocked by outside pressure. This is not just about drilling for fuel, it is about securing the country's future energy supply and reducing the heavy dependence on imported oil and gas. The Malapaya field has already shown how energy projects can change the country's economic direction, but it will eventually run out. That is why the government is determined to find new reserves before that happens. Energy security is now seen as a national priority, and every move made in this area will shape how strong and independent the Philippines can be in the years ahead. If you're getting value from this, do me a favor, just tap the like button. It's a simple click that tells YouTube this is a video worth sharing, and it helps us get this information to more people like you. Thank you. As the Philippines takes steps to secure its energy future, many of the world's biggest energy players are watching closely. Global oil and gas companies see an opportunity here, not just for profit, but also for influence in one of the most strategic regions in the world. American firms have shown interest because of the Philippines' long-standing partnership with the United States and the need to strengthen energy ties in Asia. European companies such as Shell and Total have also been active because they already have experience in offshore drilling in Southeast Asia and see new reserves as a way to expand their footprint. Asian giants are not staying silent either. Japan and South Korea both import most of their energy, which makes them eager to join projects that could bring more stability to their supply chains. Even India has expressed interest in building a stronger energy relationship with the Philippines as part of its wider strategy in the Indo-Pacific. Of course, China is also among the biggest players with its own claims in the South China Sea and its aggressive push to secure more energy resources. This is where the competition gets more intense because whoever invests in Philippine oil and gas will also gain strategic influence in the region. For the Philippines, this growing interest is both an advantage and a challenge. Having more countries involved means more options for technology, investment, and funding. But it also means choosing carefully who to partner with. Each decision will carry not only economic weight, but also geopolitical consequences that could last for decades. This isn't just about finding black gold, it's about building an unbreakable network of allies. The stage is set. The players are at the table, but there's one more piece to the puzzle, a part of this story that goes beyond politics and economics. It's about the soul of a nation. But before we get there, there's a vital truth you need to understand, a truth that could determine whether this nation rises or falls. For the Philippines, the discovery and development of new oil and gas reserves could open doors that the country has never fully walked through before. One of the most immediate opportunities is energy independence. By producing more of its own fuel, the nation can cut down on expensive imports and shield itself from sudden price changes in the global market. This would make energy more stable and affordable for millions of Filipinos. Another opportunity lies in jobs and growth. Large-scale exploration and production would create thousands of direct and indirect jobs, from engineers and technicians to workers in construction and shipping. These industries would inject fresh income into communities and boost local economies. The government could also benefit through taxes and royalties that would fund schools, hospitals, and infrastructure projects. This would mean that natural resources are not just a business venture, but a tool to improve daily life for ordinary citizens. Beyond economics, new reserves could also raise the country's standing on the world stage. Having a stronger role in global energy markets would give the Philippines more influence in international trade and diplomacy. These opportunities show why the hidden reserves are more than just fuel. They represent a chance to reshape the country's future. While the opportunities are exciting, it is equally important to look at the risks and challenges that come with tapping into these reserves. The first major challenge is the cost. Oil and gas exploration is extremely expensive, and without the right investment, the projects can stall before they even begin. This makes the Philippines dependent on foreign partners who may have their own interests at heart. Another risk is environmental. Offshore drilling and extraction carry the danger of oil spills and long-term damage to marine ecosystems. The Philippines relies heavily on fishing and healthy seas, so any mistake could hurt both the environment and the communities that depend on it. Territorial disputes also remain a serious challenge. Competing claims in the South China Sea mean that exploration can quickly turn into a political or military standoff. These disputes add uncertainty that can scare away investors and delay development. There's one last and perhaps most important piece of this story. It's the one that will determine if the Philippines can overcome all these challenges. It's about the spirit of the Filipino people. This isn't just a political story, it's a human story. Beyond the numbers and drilling platforms, the oil and gas reserves of the Philippines carry a deeper meaning. They symbolize the country's struggle to rise from dependence and claim its own path toward growth. For decades, the Philippines has been known for relying on imports, but these hidden reserves remind the world that the nation has the potential to stand strong on its own resources. The story of these reserves also teaches an important lesson about timing and readiness. Having resources is not enough. What matters is how a nation manages them, how it balances partnerships with protection of sovereignty, and how it ensures that development benefits ordinary people and not only corporations. This is why the title of this video is not just a catchy phrase, it's a profound statement of fact. China can't stop the world from investing in Philippines' hidden oil and gas. Why? Because it's not just about a resource, it's about a movement, a global coalition of countries from the US to Japan who have a vested interest in seeing the Philippines succeed. This latest news is about more than just a political standoff. It's about a new dawn for a nation. For the Filipino people, these reserves are more than just fuel for power plants. They represent a chance to take control of the country's future. They are a reminder that energy is not only about electricity or transportation, but also about independence and dignity. As we have seen, the hidden oil and gas reserves in the Philippines are more than just resources. They are a symbol of opportunity, independence, and national growth. The government's recent moves, the interests of global players, and the steps taken to secure energy security all point to a future where the Philippines can play a larger role in the world. This isn't just about a country getting rich. It's about a people, a resilient and proud people finally getting the chance to write their own destiny. It's about a nation that has endured so much, now standing at the precipice of a new era, an era of self-reliance, of growth, and of power. The world is watching, and the Filipino people are finally getting the chance to prove to the world what they have always known, that they are unconquerable. Thank you for staying with us as we explored the hidden oil and gas reserves of the Philippines and what they mean for the nation's future. If you found this video informative and engaging, make sure to like this video. Your support helps us bring more videos about national growth, energy security, and global developments straight to you. The hidden reserves are not only a source of energy, but a reflection of what the country can achieve when vision meets action. But this is just the beginning of the story. The struggle for independence isn't over. To understand the next chapter, you need to watch our video on why US sends warships to support Philippines after China's aggression. It's a shocking deep dive that connects directly to everything you've just learned. Click the video on your screen right now to find out what's really happening behind the scenes. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay proud of what the Philippines can achieve.